All right, here we go. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio. Coming at you from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach. On the island, on a Wednesday, new week of Go Sports Radio here at Sports every Wednesday and Thursday at noon East. We are here. Good to have everybody in the chat box today, everybody watching. It's another miserable day. I was saying before the show, like, I can't do it anymore. I'm just beaten down. I can't do it anymore. I mean, they teased us last week. It was nice for a couple days. Now they just go and smack us in the face again with just this miserable weather. I've had enough, so I'm tapping out. I don't really care at this point anymore because I got too many other things to worry about. I got the NFL draft tomorrow night. I've got the Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs. The Mets can't win a game. Yankees in Boston against the Sox. It's just too busy to worry about this miserable, disgusting, awful weather that we continue to have. Mike Carver here along with Paul Cuthbert. Hi, Paul.
How you doing, buddy? Happy Wednesday. Here we go. Show 49 before show 50. Can you believe we've come this far, my friend?
Is it that many?
Yeah.
Wow. How about that? So tomorrow,
the big 50.
You get the big 5-0 tomorrow, huh?
Yep.
How about that's pretty good. That's amazing. It's been
Borrelli's for having us. Man.
Of course. Yeah. How could you not?
It's been fun.
It's been outstanding. And now we're here and we're ready to rock and even more to come, or another 50 after that. So as we steamroll back into the football season, before you know it, it'll be the NFL will be back.
As far as everyone's concerned, it's football season right now, buddy.
I mean, the weather would make you think it's football season, but I don't think I should complain about that anymore because it's probably it's painful at this point. How much
I think you're gonna have to relocate
about the weather.
Where are you gonna go?
I don't know.
I mean, is there really
kind of stuck
another
here.
option?
So there's really nothing I can do at this point. It is what it is. So I'm here. And we are here. Go Sports Radio, Carver and Cuthbert with us. We got a big show today. As I mentioned, a lot to do. We'll do a little NFL draft as well, which is tomorrow night, round one of the NFL draft in Pittsburgh this year. Right? They're having the draft in Pittsburgh. Have fun. Go for the two. Joe Lisi will join us to talk about the draft. He is the encyclopedia of college football, and he'll have us all set up for everything tomorrow night with a lot of local flavor, Paulie, because now the Jets had 2 picks in the first round. We knew that. But now the Giants have 2 picks in the top 10 after getting rid of Dexter Lawrence over the weekend, sending him to Cincinnati. So, which I thought was just and I think it's a steal for the Giants, to be quite honest with you. Now, look, you have to make that 10th overall pick be something. You can't, if you draft a stiff and they stink, then, it's a bad move, obviously. But for a guy who clearly didn't want to be here anymore and was making a ton of money, getting a 10th overall pick in the draft, that's pretty significant return in my eyes.
Have fun in Cincinnati.
It's also one of those rare trades where if you went on social media and you kind of tried to gauge everything, it seemed like every Giant fan thought that they ripped off the Bengals. And every Bengal fan thinks that they ripped off the Giants. So you usually don't get trades like that. So that means it must be a good trade. If each fan base thinks that they ripped the other one off, that's usually the sign of a good trade.
Congratulations, everybody. How old is he anyway?
I mean, I don't go in front of my right in front of me.
I didn't think I was going to stump you this early, pal. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I know I'm good with a lot of stuff.
Late 20s.
I would say late.
I should probably be
28, by the way. He'll be 29 in November. He'll be 29. But good move all around. And the Giants are now very loaded with anticipation for Thursday night's first round. There's a lot that they can do. There's a lot the Jets. Just talking about the Jets going to trade out of the second spot. Everybody seems to want this Reese. There's a bunch of guys that at the top of this draft that everybody seems to be salivating for. So we'll get some of Joe's thoughts on that. See what he thinks.
Joe, man, meeting Big Joe.
I know you. Bailey and Reese are the 2 guys that everybody wants in those 2 second and third slots. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, of course, I've done a lot of work with Joe in the past. This is his thing. He loves draft week.
When you say you've done a lot of work with him, it sounds like almost like a therapist kind of.
I've done a little, well, I mean, there's times I felt that way when I've done the show with Joe. There's definitely times I felt like a therapist when I used to do the show on Sirius at nights with. Yes, of course it is.
Especially getting you through this weather stuff.
Well, the weather bothers me. But let's something that should bother people even more, and that's if you're a fan of the Mets. That should really bother you, as they have now lost 12 games in a row. Put that in perspective. Like, they haven't won, this is like 2 weeks ago. So we were here the last time they won a game. Like, when you get to that level of misery, and you saw it all last night and this morning, if you're a Met fan, they've already ended your season because they gave you that. How many times have you heard since last night that no team that's lost 12 games in a row has ever made the playoffs? So they've got the doom sentence in April already before even things start. It's finished. It's over. It's kaput.
Well, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that.
Facts are facts. Is that what you're saying? It's just, it is what it is.
Facts are facts, and this lineup. And I don't think Juan Soto coming back is going to save him.
And he is supposed to come back tonight, as they will face the Minnesota Twins. And I said this yesterday, and if you can't beat the hack that the Twins had going last night, that Woods Richardson, he stinks. And if you can't beat him, you're never winning a game. And now the Twins are calling up some kid from the minors to pitch tonight. He'll probably throw a no-hitter the way things are going for the Mets right now. We can
only dream.
As they just need to get out of this. And look, you know how this ends. You know how the story's going to go. They're going to fire the manager at some point. It's going to happen. Is it necessarily his fault? I'm not so sure about that. But that's the guy, right, Paulie? When things like this are going bad, there's only one thing that you can immediately change right now to try to turn things in a different direction. And it's that. And that's what's going to happen here. If this continues, that happen anyway.
The term you just used, is it his fault?
I actually think there's someone who's more at fault than him, than most people.
So who do you think it is?
The nerd general manager, to be quite honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where because I think this is a roster problem. It's not a manager problem.
But it looked great on opening day.
Well, sure, it looked great, but they spent a lot of money. But what does it look like now? Like, even with Soto in the lineup, like who hits home runs on this team? Oh, you let the guy who hits 40 home runs a year go out the door last year. You let a guys who provided some power go out the door. I mean, Pete Alonso, fan favorite. Everybody loved him.
Everybody's missing Nemo now too, man.
Well, they're missing all these guys because when you lose 12 games in a row, you have to try to say, well, what's going on here? What's missing? What's changed? And what's changed is they changed a lot of things in the offseason. And I think it's the GM. And I think that Cohen, who, as we've talked about, is a billionaire, and he's got more money than God, and he came in with the wanting to win and spend and do all of those things. And somebody convinced him to hire small market, nerd general manager from Milwaukee. And he does things differently. And small market guys, and I will say this first, before I continue to drag and bash this guy. He did an excellent job in Milwaukee. Excellent job. It's a hard place to win. You can never. He developed a lot of players through their system. They couldn't pay any of them. He got good returns when he had to trade his guys. That's what small market teams have to do. That's not what the Mets are. Mets are a big market team. And if you look, these small market nerd GMs who then get the opportunity to go to big places, for the most part, Paulie, it never goes well. Take Bloom from Tampa when he went to the Red Sox. I mean, they'll always remember him for one thing. He traded Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he's ever going to be remembered for. Missing the playoffs 3 out of 4 years, he was the GM. I think these guys are good in certain situations. Like, I don't think that David Stearns is a bad GM per se. I think he's a bad GM for a big market team. That's what I think.
No, it's a good angle. No, I have to agree with you. I mean, you just can't, the fever pitch on the other side with us as Yankee fans and everything else. And thank God they've turned things around here a little bit. But, just going with Mendoza here, the 12-game losses, I think you're right about Stearns here too. I mean, the lineup,
he did a bad job, but he's a bad roster building job, I think.
But even the guys that he brought in, I mean, the pitching side and Williams, it's just I don't think you could have scripted. I don't think you could have scripted everything going wrong at the same time, from like no production from Lindor.
That's fine.
Right? Soto getting injured, I mean, just when you
Bichette's done nothing.
Bichette has done that. I mean, you put it all together here, the new addition, it's just a complete collapse.
It's a complete collapse. And you're right. That's part of the general manager being his fault. I think anybody who watched the Yankees last year saw that Devin Williams stinks. Okay. He was awful.
And you could see that
the Yankees.
Weaver was losing a bit of his magic there.
Yeah. But you obviously signed this. You knew you were losing Diaz. And your response was to sign a guy that across town was awful. And this goes back. It's not the same thing, but there's guys who can't pitch in New York. He can't pitch in New York.
Yeah,
he can't, and he's not the first, and he won't be the last. Mm-hmm. He can't do it. It's mind games. It all gets in between the ears, and it never ends. And he's one of those guys. So I just get him out like that. That's all you can do at this point. So that was another bad move by him, a miscalculation. You brought the entire Yankee bullpen, all the guys that stunk last year. You signed them all. Makes no sense. And they're getting what they deserve right now. And maybe Soto comes back tonight and things change. And all of a sudden, but one guy is not going to, this is not the NBA. One guy can't change your fortunes that quickly.
When do we, and I can kind of maybe say this as a New York Rangers fan. And looking at the wide, long gap since the Mets, obviously not too long ago getting into the World Series, but not winning anything here since '86. I mean, are they cursed, Mike? I mean, is this a cursed franchise? Do you believe in those things? I mean, we've seen the Red Sox get rid of that. We've seen the Cubs get rid of that, but I don't know. Because I think more than anything, when I'm trying to, you can't fix this season. I mean, they would have to go on some kind of incredible run. And then if you do, who are you bringing in to replace Mendoza?
That's why sometimes doing things like that, what does it accomplish? Especially, I mean, it's April 22nd. You've got 5 months left in the season. Who's on the staff right now that's like, oh, you know what? This is the guy. This guy we're going to rip off 20 out of 22 with this guy as the manager. There isn't that there. And the whispers have been, oh, well, they would hire Girardi, or they would, more Yankees. We're going to go with more Yankees. When has that worked yet? Has any of it worked? So it doesn't.
You got to stop.
Beltran's the other one that I've seen. Everyone wants to. And Beltran was supposed to be the manager, and then they obviously that all got thrown away because of the Houston cheating thing. And now I guess everybody's paid their dues for that, and now you can get him back in and be the manager. Well, he's never managed before. What's that going to do if you bring him in for the next 5 months? What does it do? Just learning for next year? Is that what he'll be doing?
It's so bad, and nobody was in the park last night either.
Can you blame him?
No, I don't blame him at all. But
that goes back to what we said last week. The owner with this tweet, tweeting, just leave it alone. You've jacked up the prices, and the product is awful right now.
It's a plane on fire going into a nosedive.
Is the season over?
Well,
you don't like saying that on April the 22nd. I know, but is it over?
So, I mean, you look at the rest of the division. It's not over. You look at the rest.
I know people get dramatic with this stuff. I mean, it's
but I think sometimes there's a kind of when you look at the roster, you look at the lineup, you just look. Anything can happen in baseball. We've seen that. Yeah. I just don't know if this team has the makeup of it, But then again, we were here last week, and I was going off. It didn't feel like the Yankees were ever going to win again.
They've righted the ship.
And that they've now they've righted the ship, or it's because they've played Kansas City and they're playing a bad Boston team right now.
Who's another team that just the Kansas City. They're starting to get themselves into Minnesota Twin area with the Yankees, where they never. I mean, just never. It doesn't matter. You could change the year. You could change the managers. You could change the team. You could change the stadium. Change whatever you want. Really, it's the whole AL Central kind of. They just never beat the Yankees. I mean, if the Yankees are on a bad slide, bring an AL Central team to town. I mean, it is right there for them to go. Cleveland's the only one that's kind of gives them a problem now and then. But I mean, the Twins and the Royals, it is like the Yankees just lick their chops when those two come down the block and they get to see them because it gets them right. And then they go and they win the first game in Boston last night. Big G getting involved. And yet, what the most important thing for the Yankees last night was, and we're going to have Joe in a couple of minutes here. We're going to have Louis Heel pitching well. was the most important thing for the Yankees last night, because he
stars
didn't
are
look good
pitching
in his first couple times out. Him pitching well was the biggest thing for the Yankees.
But the starting rotation, just in general, getting 6 to 7 innings, has just been fantastic.
Right. And look, they had what you're not going to go the whole season. And they had a stretch there for about a week to 10 days where no one, anybody out for the most part. And now you've got them in a situation where, everybody's pitching good. All right. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio here, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. And of course, the NFL draft is getting ready tomorrow night. Now, Joe's got the big smile on his face. He's all ready to go here. And we got to give him, of course, the proper introduction, Paulie, because I would hate to – Joe hasn't been on the show before. I'd hate to not give him the proper introduction. So, for the first time on Go Sports Radio, used to host with me, of course, on Sirius Nights, plenty of shows. He is the encyclopedia of college football, the one, the only. Go for the 2, Joe Lisi. Hi, Joe. How are you?
How are you, Paul? How are you, Mike? Let me tell you something. I wasn't sure if there was a dress code on this show, so that's why I got all done up for Carver here. He loves talking about the NFL draft. I'm still shocked, Carver, that total in the Philly game blew through it.
I told you.
7-4. I know. I needed a half a run in the Kansas City-Baltimore game. It's 5-5, bottom of the ninth, and KC scores a run. I altered it to 11.5. It's incredible.
So I guess you didn't have a good night with the totals in baseball.
I played it small, and I was aggravated. I knew that Yankee game was the dead under. Yeah, the 8.5 on a Red Sox Yankee game is too low for them.
It is too low. 8.5 for a Yankee. Then they'll fly through it again tonight, Joe. Don't worry.
Let me ask Joe. Joe, so where are you from, Joe? You from Texas?
Born and raised in Plano, Paul. Born and raised in Plano. I'm a Brooklyn guy, but I grew up in Bergen County, New Jersey, but I have roots in the Bronx as well, going to Fordham. So I lived on 189th
everywhere
and Hughes. The only real borough of New York that I don't know well is Queens. Never really navigated to the Queens, except
I don't think anybody wants to be there right now anyway with how the Mets are playing. You probably want to stay out of Queens.
Woodside's nice this time of year. I'm from Woodside originally, so that's good. I'll take you down. There's a couple of good Irish bars down there, Joe.
Hey, I got a little Irish in me. Carver knows that.
Yeah, a little bit. Not much. A little bit.
Just a little? Come on. My name is Joe Ryan. What are you kidding?
Joe Ryan. Joe, are you this is your time, man. I mean, you love this every year. The NFL draft this year. I want to ask you this first about it before we get into the Jets and the Giants and all the stuff that they have to do. I feel like some years there's so much buzz and there's so much excitement, and you've got these big names, whether it's the massive quarterback, the Trevor Lawrences, and you've had these years with a lot of anticipation and excitement and big players. I feel like this year, Joe, it's like kind of like blah, like it's a little boring. Like we've known Mendoza was going to be the first pick since I guess they won the national championship game, if not before that. You've got defensive players and offensive linemen. Like there's just not a lot of sizzle for the top of this draft to get people excited.
Yeah, it's a dud. Call it what it is, Carver. It's absolutely one of the worst draft classes that we potentially saw. And you mentioned the skilled talent, not just quarterbacks. I think it is, and we could get into this, a very deep running back class. But outside of that, the wide receivers, in my opinion, not as elite as we saw just a couple of years ago with Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors and some of the other kids that came out. I think there's some under-the-radar guys, but looking for that flair and hype that we have seen in recent years, I don't think you get this with this draft. I think it's Mendoza and everybody else. I agree. David Bailey, Arvell Reese, and Sonny Styles, top three. You want to throw Caleb Downs in there as being the elite, safety in this class. I agree with that 100%. But outside of that, you're really patching it together to make it a great draft. I just watched Draft Day over the weekend again.
Oh,
Very underrated those moves. Very underrated.
I'll say this.
Very underrated those moves that Costner made. I'm telling you, Bo Callahan.
Obviously, you have to take that movie. It's a movie. You have to take it with a grain of salt because the stuff in it is so ridiculous and would never happen. But from that aspect, Joe, I guess the week of the draft, it is fun to watch it, but it is such nonsense, all the stuff that goes on in it. It's a nonsense film.
Oh, it's crazy. Any GM that pulled that off would be fired on the spot, giving up the 3 number ones and then getting the back. I mean, come on. But it's great. I mean, the more I watch it, I mean, I probably would have done that. I probably would have done it. Kid's got no heart. Cut him. Chopped. That's it. Didn't go. How many of his teammates went to his birthday party?
Yeah, that's a good part of it. That is a good part of it when you get into that. What did you think of the Giants now getting back into this with a second top 10 pick? So Dexter Lawrence goes to the Bengals. He didn't have that great a year, Joe. I mean, the analytic guys will tell you that he gets double teamed all the time and he's been on a losing team for years. And that's why I thought getting a 10th overall pick for a guy who didn't want to be there, I thought it was a really good. Now you got to cap and take somebody good, but I thought it was a really good return for Dexter Lawrence.
I agree. Dexter Lawrence was checked out. His defensive productivity tailed off much of last year. He was basically not a locker room guy to cultivate some of the young talent in that unit. And to get a 10th round, first round selection for him, 10th pick, I agree with you. I think he's aging. I don't think he's the same dominant player that he came out of Clemson, and people expecting him to transform Cincinnati's defense. I just don't see it. It's not like Dexter Lawrence makes them an elite top 10 or top 15
not Aaron
unit.
Donald.
No, I know. He's more like Grady Jarrett than he is Aaron Donald. Let's call it what it is.
Sense.
I agree, but now can the Giants capitalize? And I'll just say this, the 5th overall pick where they sit, I'll tell you this, Carver. I think they're going to get love. Tennessee would be out of their minds if they take Jeremiah Love at number 4.
Joe, all these teams would be out of their minds if they take a running back in the top 10. Because listen, if you're picking in the top 10, unless there was a trade or like something like that, that means you sucked last year. That means that you need more than a running back. We were saying this the other day, like when the Lions took Gibbs at 12, like the Lions were a team on the rise, a ready-made team. They had pieces all over. Like I just don't see it. If you're Tennessee or the Giants, like don't you need more than a running? Can't you get someone? And Jeremiah, I love Jeremiah Love. He's a Notre Dame guy. Can't you get someone almost as competent in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round? Why waste the top 10 pick on a running back?
Totally agree with that assessment. I'll say this. If you're Tennessee, you have to get Cam Ward weapons. You can't go in with those pedestrian arena league wide receivers, Carver, and take Jeremiah Love or an offensive or a defensive player. You have to get Why can't they get Carnell Tate? I mean, you have to make an assessment on whether Cam Ward is the guy in year number 2. The only way you could do that is if you put weapons around them. You can't expect him to throw the football to pedestrian wide receivers with no speed. They have Tajay Spears. They still have Tony Pollard. They have running backs that can produce. They don't need Jeremiah Love to transform this offense. They need speed on the perimeter. If they do not go Carnell Tate, this offense and this team with Salah are going straight down. They'll be exactly what they were with Callahan.
Hey, Joe, with obviously, New York here, a lot of focus on the Jets and the Giants and their position here in the first round. 2 questions for you. Who maybe is not in the pool in the top 10, maybe outside of that number down, somewhere down the line where might be a surprise player that maybe you think that somebody should maybe try and go out and grab for. And my other question to you too is who's a GM or a team there that might make some kind of a sleeper move, or is there a particular team that you might be focusing in on to see to watch what they might do in this draft?
So the 2 teams that come to mind for like just making moves Paul, especially on draft day, has to be Howie with Philadelphia. Now with the situation, knowing that they're going to potentially, obviously, deal A.J. Brown in New England, they need wide receiver help. I think they'll be, very active on maybe day one or day two and beyond. So they're definitely a team. The other one would be New Orleans. And I know that sounds crazy, but they have Etienne that they just signed from Jacksonville. We know Kellen Moore wants to run the football. This was a team that peaked at the end of the regular season. They're in position potentially to maybe move up and get a player like Jeremiah Love. I mean, it sounds crazy, but if they pair Jeremiah Love potentially with ETN in that backfield, you have now a similar backfield to what Gibbs and Montgomery were for Detroit. And we know Kellen Moore wants to run the football. So I keep an eye out for those two teams, always with the Eagles and New Orleans, even though New Orleans up until this point with Mickey Loomis has been a little cheap in making moves. I think they potentially can make moves with a younger head coach. Player-wise, and Carver's gonna bash me. I have to do it because I've been on these guys prior to any guru, prior to anybody.
You're the guru.
I'm the champ. I'm the guru. Right. I am. Jimmy's the best cop. Taylor Green and Mike Washington from Arkansas are two, and they've been. Will you stop Carver? Mike Washington potentially can be a first-round selection. Everybody's talking about Jadarian Price and being the second overall running back selected. Mike Washington had a phenomenal combine. He runs a 4.340. He's 6'2", 230. I got how many action pictures in my office here of Mike Washington? How many did I buy last year from the team? Right? Taylor Green, too. I'm going to say this. I think Taylor Green has the biggest upside out of every quarterback in this class. How about that, Paul? I think when we look back, if a team takes a shot on Taylor Green, you potentially could be looking at a Jaden Daniels type of player that Carver knows I love.
Wow. Does the University of Arkansas, do they pay you? Do you have like an NIL deal with them? Is there like some kind of side deal you have with them? Why is it always these odds at Arkansas?
What are you talking about? They produced. They had one of the most
every year.
But it wasn't because of their offense. They had an offense that averaged 35 points per game.
What do you want the Jets to do with this second pick? Because we're like less than 48 hours out now. You're getting all that smoke about, trade the pick. I wouldn't trust this Muji as far as you could throw him. What do you want to do with the second pick with the Jets? Because there's interest there. There's been talk that they love this Bailey, the Reese. What do you want to do?
I would take Bailey. I mean, Bailey to me is the guy like Jared Verse or a Myles Garrett type of player. Body type, he can be double-teamed and forces double teams each and every play. Great in run support, has a great motor. And look at what he did. Texas Tech had the worst pass defense and one of the worst defenses in college football in 2024. He transformed them in 1 year to one of the best rush defenses, not just in the Big 12, but in the whole country last year, Carver. They allowed only around 70 rushing yards per game. The kid plays with a motor. If the Jets are looking defense, go with Bailey. I mean, they need still multiple picks offensively, I think, as well. I don't like their wide receiver core outside of Garrett Wilson. But again, Geno Smith, he needs 18 seconds to throw the football. It doesn't matter who you have out there. If the offensive line breaks down, they're not going to put up points. And Aaron Glenzel will be out of a job.
He can be out of a job anyway. So, I mean, they're not surviving.
You can give him Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, and David Bailey, and maybe the defense doesn't step up. How about that?
Well, you could give him all three of those guys, and they would still have Geno at quarterback. So it wouldn't make a difference.
How you go with Geno Smith is ridiculous.
Because they want to lose.
Human turnover
they
machine.
Fire Glenn.
Human turnover machine.
Arch next year for the first overall pick. Arch. Next year's Arch year, Joe. You know that.
All right.
Arch time.
All right.
What about this Simpson? Oh, go ahead, Paulie. Go first.
No, I was going to say maybe, Joe, you should start down the road or you guys together maybe could do like a Jets documentary in terms of figuring out what the hell they're doing. What they've been doing.
Carver, I would do it. I'll come to Borrelli's. How's that? Nice burger down there?
We'll get you a
Medium?
burger, but
Whatever
bun?
you need, Joe.
Can I
Joe,
get a lettuce
you
wrap?
don't have to worry if they have buns. You don't need he eats his burger with no bun, like a lettuce wrap on the burger.
You want to hear the best? I went to a wedding this past weekend. I ordered DoorDash. I was in South Jersey. I ordered it to my house, screaming at the guy, "Where's the food? Where's the food?"
They didn't
Food
feed
was
you
up.
at the wedding?
No, they did. This was like 2:00 in the morning. I went for a double.
I saw you. You look nice.
You like the baby blue suit,
Yeah,
right?
you look good.
I looked like I was at the Derby.
You
So
look good.
there you go.
It did have
What-
like a little bit of a derby feel.
Yeah.
To it. What about
Ty
this?
Simpson?
What about this Simpson?
Is completely overrated, overhyped. This is the Will Levis. This is the guy, and I've been the quarterback whisperer, not Orlovsky and all these guys, Todd McShay. I picked Lamar Jackson over Baker Mayfield. Lamar, 2 MVPs. I'm the one that said it. I'm the one that said Will Levis stunk.
Yeah,
So
but
does
you
Ty
also
Simpson.
like you also liked
here we
Anthony Richardson.
Oh,
so-
no, I did not. I like Jaden Daniels. Don't start. Come on,
So-
you know Ty Simpson's terrible. He
He
didn't
is.
step up against elite competition. He lost 4 games down the stretch. Didn't play well against Oklahoma in the first matchup. Didn't play well against some of the better defenses in the SEC. And now we're going to hype him up to be a top 20 pick. He's a project at best. He's like Zach Wilson, Carver. How did that work out for the Jets?
Stinks.
Why are we even talking about the Jets?
Well, the Jets
I
have
know,
2
yeah,
picks. They
I
got
know.
2
I
picks here in the
understand. I'm
first
busting
round.
chops.
So-
Joe, real quick, a couple of teams that got close last year. Obviously, maybe focusing on the Rams. Do they do anything here with maybe Puka's situation here as far as any key points that they might want to try and figure out on helping their team out, and or this Frisco tweak with anything here too? Just looking at Seattle obviously winning last year. They kind of leave things alone. A couple of teams that got close next year. You see them making any kind of moves here in the draft?
I think, Paul, for LA, you look at that offense and how it was built, right, with Puka and Devontae Adams, and then their secondary options for wide receivers. They did have 4 tight ends that they utilized throughout: Higsby, Ferguson, Parkinson, all of them. So they're loaded at tight end, but wide receiver outside of Devontae Adams and Puka potentially, could fall off a cliff. So Lemon is a nice pick for them. He's a USC kid. He reminds me of St. Brown coming out when he did to Detroit. He's a smooth route runner. The only problem, I think, is that he can't be the number 1 guy. I think body type and size, but with Devontae potentially, or obviously if Puka does play for a full season, he could be that complementary wide receiver in that offense. So I think LA still goes. If Stafford's in there, they're going to chuck it all over the yard, right? Still go offense. If the situation with Puka hinders them and he doesn't play for a period of time, now you have a potential backup that could just be a plug-and-play type of guy. Brazel from Tennessee is okay. I don't like him as much on the next level. When you look at Hyatt and some of the Tennessee wide receivers, they have struggled. And I think Frisco as well. Frisco needs wide receiver help. They go for Pearsall last year. He's injury prone. Jawan Jennings couldn't make it through a season. Kittle, I still think they need offensive weapons as well. They could go defense. I mean, if a player like, I'll say Bain or some of the others, Mansour from LSU is there, they might go for him as well. I think cornerback help for San Francisco wouldn't be bad either.
Out of all these wide receivers, you like Tate the best? What about this Tyson from Arizona State?
Big body. The only problem is, Carver, is injuries concerns. If he's injured in college, does it translate to the NFL? He's coming off an injury as well, and he struggled a little bit because Sam Levitt, was a little inconsistent last year. But again, how much of that was
played Sam Levitt
and Scatterbrain?
Throwing him
Jeff
the ball
Sims,
the last second half of the
Jeff
season.
Sims.
Oh,
You didn't like Jeff?
stinks.
Jeff Sims had a fantastic Sun Bowl. What are you kidding? He got us the over.
Stinks. Sims.
300 yards.
So you want to go? Running back, wide receiver. Giants 5 and 10. Running back, wide receiver.
I mean, I don't think it could hurt. I mean, they'll say defense, but if you want to go Caleb Downs at 10, if he's there, I wouldn't have a problem with that. If Downs fell, but I think they definitely need a running back, a game changer. Jeremiah Love in that offense is like Derrick Henry was with Baltimore. That's what Harbaugh wants to do. Scatterboo is really good, but he's coming off a dislocation. You don't know if he's going to be 100%. He might retire.
Well, look, I do like the idea of putting a speed flash guy with a hammerhead guy. Like I think you need that in today's NFL. It's a good thing to have. I just don't know if I want to spend that kind of draft capital to put that together. I just
all right. So
you just told me it's a deep running back draft. So that
well, I mean, in my opinion, yeah. I mean, if you're telling me you get Mike Washington in the second round, is there a drop off in productivity from Jeremiah Love to Washington? In my opinion, no. I think Jeremiah Love is a little bit more athletic for his size, but Mike Washington is 230. I mean, Jadarian Price could be, a secondary option as well. You go through the list of running backs in this class, you could pick somebody up in the second, third, or fourth round to make up for, let's say, if you miss out on Love. I just think if the Giants have him, now the mindset will be, well, you reached up and you got Saquon Barkley and you couldn't keep him and you couldn't win with him. And so you're going to make that mistake again. But then if you don't do that, then you just go defense then. Go Caleb Downs and see if you can catch Payne at number 10 and transform that defense. There's two mentalities that you have to go. You want a more methodical offense with Jackson Dart, or do you want an explosive offense that could compete with Dallas, that could compete with Philadelphia? Because think about the quarterbacks that they have to go up against.
Right.
Dak, Jalen Hurts, and Jaden Daniels when healthy. Downs helps that secondary immediately.
Last thing for you here from me. Tell me about this Concepcion from Texas A&M.
Love him. He's a Swiss Army knife. He came from NC State. He was the leading wide receiver there, but he came in. He stepped up in the SEC. I love the way he plays. I like him as potentially maybe a late first round if he sneaks in there, if not a number 2.
I was thinking about around number 26 or 27, wherever the Bills are picking. Like I was thinking right around
Carver, he's not bad. I mean, the only thing you would say is body type, maybe he could add 10 more pounds of muscle. But again, he could do it all. Reverses. He could run the slot. He catches yards after catch. He doesn't lose top-end speed. You go to some of the biggest games on Texas A&M schedule. Concepcion stepped up. Go back 2 years ago against for NC State. All the big games, Concepcion stepped up and produced. So that's the type of player that you want. Playing in cold weather, maybe. I don't know. Might be a concern in Buffalo. But outside of that, I think he's a great player. I think he could be.
So you think he's better than Keon Coleman?
Absolutely. I mean, Keon Coleman is for the body type. He's not smooth. He's not fast. And Concepcion could be that pocket rocket. I mean, Concepcion could take a game over just with his yards after catch. And that's what you want for Josh Allen, right? You don't want Shahir just running the show.
I want as many weapons as possible. That's what I want.
What'd you think about your GM calling out and telling the fans to AI images of these guys? What do you think about that?
Whatever. Where do you find this stuff? I haven't seen anything about the GM with AI. Everybody uses AI now. You're the AI king. No. You got stock in it.
I don't know. Whatever you tell the AI to put photos up of me, they bash me. They make me look like I was living in an alley for a week.
No way. Not with the way your hair's looking today, Joe. There's no way.
Oh, look at sharp, buddy. Looks great.
Look at sharp.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, wait, I got one question. Quick question.
All
right, Joe, give us a breakdown. Let everybody know what's the draft day like for Joe. Like, what time do you start? You starting at 9 in the morning, some jumping jacks.
I use the pancakes like the Seahawks GM in the movie.
How many phones you got laid out? What's going on?
So Paul, back in the day, in the late 90s and early 2000s, I used to tape it on VHS. I used to be that crazy, all multiple rounds, two recorders. So I wanted the highlights, and now it's just been watered down. But I will watch the first round, second and third round. I'll catch it on my phone when I'm out and about. But I can't watch 7 rounds anymore in my old age. I have to watch it on the phone and see. I don't like the back and forth. Unless I'm on the panel, I can't listen to everybody go back and forth. Gruden, Orlovsky, this one, that one.
Have you made any draft bets?
Not yet. I'm going to lock in.
What is that?
Well, give me an idea. What is a draft bet? Like what?
I'll give you.
What are you looking to do? Give me a couple.
You can while you find one that you like, Joe. So you could bet things like a certain player over under what number they get drafted. You can draft this, what team will draft what position first. Like there's a lot of things. Now you can't in New York, unfortunately.
Well, here you go. Now you're not even catering to the people. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, people live in New Jersey and Connecticut around here too. People watch everywhere. Eddie from Columbus is in the chat.
Tell Eddie.
Him.
Bronx Buckeye. All right, you ready? How about this? I'll give you, because everybody's pumping them up. I think top 10 pick, Sadiq at 11-1. Everybody's pumping this guy up.
This is the tight end?
Yeah, 11-1, and Caden Proctor. They love this guy from Alabama because he catches the football. He's versatile. Doesn't matter that he got pushed around against Indiana in the semifinal playoff game, and he was pushed down multiple times. But they seem to like the fact that he scored against Georgia.
You like Mendoza?
I think he's clearly the best quarterback in the class. Leadership.
That's not what I asked you.
When you say like, what do you mean? Do I like him as much?
You think he's going to be good in the NFL?
I think he'll be a starter in the NFL, and I think he could be like maybe a clips into a Kirk Cousins. But I worry.
He's getting paid pretty good.
So yeah, make lots of money and never win anything.
Exactly. I worry that it factor with Mendoza. It worries me. I don't see the same it factor.
I don't either
with Mendoza that I did with Jaden and Caleb, and the ability to take a game over. I still worry about with Mendoza. So I would say.
Let me ask you this. Is he better or worse? Do you like him more or less than Bryce Young when he came out?
I like him a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I thought Bryce would be much better in his career up until this point, and he at times has looked
slowly getting better.
Yeah, deer in the headlights. Mendoza, that's why I like him. He's got the mental resolve. He bounces back from adversity. I never see him unfazed. But outside of that, I still have concerns about overall play and physical attributes.
And what about, real quick, guys, the fact that he's probably going to start here in Vegas? What if he started somewhere else? Does it hurt him being on this Raider squad as opposed to maybe starting somewhere else?
I think it helps him just because of Kubiak, first-year coach.
Right.
You have Bowers, you have Genty, the ability, Paul, to grow with those guys. You always talk about the big three. When you have the running back, you have the tight end, and you have your quarterback with a first-year head coach. Now you have the ability to progress, understand the scheme, and in year two, you should be better off. But they still need multiple wide receiver talent there. They have to put pieces around them. But again, I think Kubiak will be the coach that devises a game plan to his strengths, as opposed to maybe some of these other coaches that say, you have to do it my way, and it's my way or move on. And I think that's where, when we assess quarterbacks, that's where some of these coaches and organizations don't build the game plan around his strengths and want it a certain way, and that's where they go wrong sometimes.
Joe, all the love. Talk to you soon.
You.
Great job as always.
I love you. Great show. Miss you guys, and kill it. And we'll talk over some baseball later.
Definitely, Joe. Thanks so much for coming on, brother.
There he is.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Go for the two. Joe Lisi here on Carver and Cuthbert Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. Why don't you tell us, Paulie? Then we'll talk a little bit about what Joe had to say. Why don't you actually, you know what? Hold off. Let's recap what just happened, and then we'll do this.
I love a recap.
Stuff, okay. So it sounds like Joe's good with taking the running back, and the Giants take the running back at 5. I don't love it. I don't love taking love at 5, but I don't have a problem if they went double offense at 5 and 10. I don't mind that at all.
Yes, I mean that's obviously we would all love it to work out that way, but I don't know if we'll have a problem with the running back.
If I am the Jets at 2. Because I think there's 2 or 3 good pass rushers, if someone in the 4 to 6 range was dying to get up to you 2, and I know the Jets have lots of future assets as it is already, I would entertain the thought. I really would. If it gets you something else even more to stockpile even more future assets, I would do it.
I mean, the Jets, they've been stockpiling picks for a long time.
I know that. But remember, next year's the year.
Well, I guess with every year, you just have to continue. I mean, it's rinse and repeat here for the Jets. It's just, I guess, obviously being a Jets fan, it's just so frustrating not really seeing anything over the years here. Nobody with any real star power to take over, and whether it's combining with a coach or it's like quicksand. The Jets, nothing seems to kind of pull up and take them out of this.
I wonder if Q still wants Jeremiah Lovett too. He was screaming about that 2 weeks ago when he was here.
If he was screaming about it last week, he'll still be screaming about it this week.
Yeah, he's probably still wants all that.
No doubt.
I'm like Joe. I'm a little. Yeah, I think Mendoza's gonna be good, but I don't think he's gonna be.
Well, let's just say this.
All-time great.
I would have to say his journey.
You love him.
Well, I'm just looking at his journey. Nobody thought he was good. Look at how he ended up at Indiana. Look at their season.
Yes.
Look what they did. He's a champion. He's a Heisman winner. So until we see him in the silver and black on the field and commanding an offense, and let's give him an opportunity. Right. I don't think he's got to win next year. I don't think he's got to win in 2 years, but
show you
I think the kid has amazing spirit. I think he is a smart football player, and I think and I hope he surprises a lot of people, and I would love to see him be a part of turning that franchise around, because we need the Raiders to bring some sort of the old glory days back, So it's been a long, long time, as far as Oakland and just the Raiders now in Vegas. So we'll see what happens. I wish him the best. He's a good kid.
Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio, here from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. There's a lot happening here at Borrelli's, Paulie. Why don't you tell everybody what?
All right, once again, as always, we are broadcasting live from Borrelli's Taproom at 912 West Beach Street in Long Beach on Long Island in the great state of New York. So it is Wednesday, and that means tomorrow is Thursday, and tomorrow is Carnivore Night. In fact, actually, no, let me start off with the fact that it is Wednesday.
Carnivore Night.
But it's Wednesday, and Wednesdays are music theme nights. So tonight is the debut of the Bruce Springsteen music theme night. So come on down for some great hits from Bruce Springsteen and $21 dinner special, half-price bottles of wine. Starts at 7 o'clock, no cover, and lots of great music here tonight. All the big hits, so good stuff. And we'll stay on the themes here. Coming back on May 6th is the Billy Joel theme night, so come on down for that. That's Songs from Italian Restaurant. Same thing, 7 o'clock, greatest hits, Billy Joel live. And pasta dinner special and half-price bottle of wines, all great stuff there. And on May 20th, next month, very unique show here. It's New Year's Days, which is a U2 tribute, and it's going to be a full band, but kind of acoustic electric unplugged, like MTV Unplugged years ago. So come on down for that, too. That's going to be a great night, too. Again, all free admission. Come on down. 7 o'clock starts, and lots of great drinks and food specials. All right, so tomorrow is Carnivore Night, $42.99. You get a choice of pork, veal, and steak, super salad, and a dessert. And then you get bottomless beers and endless wines for $42.99 right here every Thursday night, Carnivore Night. And tomorrow also is, no, that's something else. I'm looking at different notes here. So that's Carnivore Night tomorrow night. All right, Friday, live music comes back here. We got Logan Wally on Friday night at 7 p.m. and then followed by DJ Sims to close out the Friday night dance party on Saturday. Evan Karuga Trio is here. Evan's coming down with the band. Again, 7 o'clock. And then DJ Tim Select for the Saturday night DJ dance party. And then Evan will be back again on Sunday Fun Day at 4 or 5 p.m., I believe. And then DJ Tim Select will follow on that. And also on Fun Day, this is what I was alluding to, is a bingo fundraiser here for the local Long Beach girls lacrosse team. So come on down for that and support the local lacrosse team, too, for Sunday Fun Day. So a lot going on there. Always on Sundays here is a great time. What else we got going on here? May 18th is going to be Ravioli Night here at Borrelli's. And you got to sign up for that at Borrelli'sTaproom.com or go to Eventbrite and look up Ravioli Night at Borrelli's. Come on down, learn how to make raviolis and sauce. And these nights always sell out, so it'll be great stuff. The comedy nights are rocking and rolling here. Ben Banker was here. He had 2 sold-out shows, performances last night. And David Tell, he's sold out next week already. But Ian Fidance is going to be here on April 29th. And then Jared Freed will be here on June 27th. And then on July 14th, Joel List will be here as well. So that's the great comedy series here at Borrelli's Taproom. Again, go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com or go to Eventbrite.com and search Borrelli's Comedy. We got the Knicks watch game for all the games. And the next game here, Chris Childs is going to be here. So come on down for that. And there's always 2-for-1 pizzas, dollar wings.
Chris Childs in the house.
Yes, Chris Childs is going to be in the house here at Borrelli's, dollar wings as well too. All kinds of bucket specials. Sound going for the games, so make sure you're here for all the Knicks games and the Knicks watch party. And the last thing I'll let everybody know is coming up is the Country Music Festival here, hosted by Anthony Gal.
Yes.
And that's May 15th through the 17th with real Nashville artists that are going to be down here as well. And then June 22nd is the golf outing, and we'll keep reminding everybody for that too. That's Borrelli's Taproom golf outing, and that's going to be an amazing day. We're all going to that, and it's going to be a great cause as well too. So that's what's going on. Lots of stuff, as always, here at Borrelli's Taproom.
How about that? Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio, here on a Wednesday. Nice job by Go for the Two. There.
And where did that name come from for him? What did that nickname?
That's his website. So Joe's been covering college football and writing about college football for a very long time. He used to, back in the day, I guess about 25 years ago or so, Joe was a college football researcher for ABC Sports on their broadcast. So he was, researchers are super important. They get all the stats, all the facts, all the stuff like that. So Joe is, the amount of knowledge that Joe has about college football is incredible. It really is. And he used to put out the Go for the Two season preview, where he preview all the conferences and the coaches and all that stuff. So that's why he has been dubbed the encyclopedia of college football. And then as the years went on, they put Joe with me at night, and even though Joe didn't like anything else except college football, he was forced to talk about and the NFL, obviously, any football, but he was forced to have to watch like Stanley Cup playoff games with me and baseball and other things. So I dragged Joe into other avenues now. Now he's betting baseball totals every night, and
he's expanded his knowledge.
Expanded Joe's knowledge to now he's still the encyclopedia of college football, but he's branched out into some other things along with that as we've come through. So,
good stuff.
Nice job by Joe there, getting ready for the draft tomorrow night, which round number 1 will be, Paulie, for us there. A few other things here, of course, as we get through. You mentioned that they're having the Nick watch party tomorrow night, which, of course, same time as the NFL draft for that. So you have Nick's watch party and NFL draft going at the same time. Good scene, and Chris Child's going to be here as well. You would have thought with about 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter the other night that the Knicks would be going back to Atlanta up 2-0, but not the case, as they are completely gutless down the stretch. Really, really awful job by them. Really despicable that they blew that game the other night, and now they have to go back to Atlanta 1-1 with the Hawks.
Didn't they learn after Indiana last year? I mean, I don't get it. Or
what did you want them to learn?
When you can put a team away, or put the extra nail in the coffin.
There's more than one player on the team.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I can think is that somebody wants more gates. They want an extra game back at the Garden.
I don't know about that. You know what? I guess that's. I don't think so. I think that it was just a complete.
How do you explain? How do you explain that? Up 14. How do you explain that?
They did some things that they don't normally do. And look, I think that there's times, as great as Brunson is, and he's a great player, there's times he's got to.
There's no time for that in the playoffs.
Got to let some other guys get involved.
No time for
sometimes. He does a lot on his own, and he needs to get other guys involved. And there was also too many stretches with Brown.
Isn't that on coaching then? I mean, what?
Well, I think a lot of it was on coaching the other night.
Or can he do anything, because these guys are making so much money in there?
Well, Brown also, the other night had some rotations where he was doing things that he didn't do in the regular season, and he had some guys out there together that weren't normally out there. And it's hard to go stretches where you can't have both Brunson and Cat off the floor at the same time. Like, one of them should be out there. They don't play great on the floor together because they're such defensive liabilities. It's going to hurt you defensively, but at least one of them should be on the floor at all times in the game.
So explain why, if that's the obvious, and it's the continuous assumption or the analogy that should be done. Why isn't it happening? What's causing them to keep doing the same damn thing and getting the same damn results?
Well, look, they closed out game 1. I mean, game 1 they closed out. They were up 14 with 10 minutes to go.
Are they not supposed to beat these guys, right?
What did I say to you last week? This is a good team they're playing.
Yeah, but
they weren't going to sweep this team. This is a good team. This is one of the best teams in the league since January 1st. They got better when they traded Trae Young. They have a good squad.
you can say all
they
that.
Cause the Knicks problems because
you're in your own building.
They are good. They cause a lot of turnovers. They're a strong defensive team. The Knicks struggle with teams like the Hawks because they are so physical on defense and they cause a lot.
It gets back to why aren't they making the adjustments? They've played this team before. They know what's going on. So why not make the adjustments? Or do they just not have the personnel? Because if you're going to have trouble with the Hawks right now,
this is
it's
why
going to be even worse next round.
Well, this is why the Celtics, the Pistons, and the Cavs are ahead of them in the odds to win the East because they are, because of these reasons, probably the fourth best.
Think of all the kids hanging out outside the Garden for these games, going crazy.
Bronx Buckeye in the chat. At this point, when the Knicks are up double digits in the fourth, you got to jump on the other side money line. He's not wrong about that. It's been tough. But look, I think they go to Atlanta, and I still think the Knicks are going to win the series, but they weren't sweeping this team. This is a damn good Hawks team. They've got good players, Borrelli, and everybody.
Take care of business.
They are not going to roll over these guys. This is a series, and I thought this series is going to have length. This is 6, maybe 7 games.
Don't say 7.
I'm telling you.
Don't say 7
They're
games.
a good team. They've been under, people just think this is a walkthrough. It's not.
All right.
It's not. And people thought the Celtics won the first game by 30. They lost to the Sixers last night. These aren't walkthroughs. Some of them are. Like Oklahoma City tonight's a walkthrough.
So I understand that. I get that. But when you're up by that much in your house, how you're not putting that nail in the coffin, finishing them out with all those things that you just said and everybody knowing this, why not nail it down? How do they let that game slip away?
Because this is when you make mistakes and you turn the ball over and one guy's playing hero ball and you're not getting anyone else involved.
This is what I'm saying. And
the other teams,
they're not a serious basketball team then.
Well, they're not. They're not going to win the title.
Well, I'm like, it's not so much the title, but take care of business in the series already. Should have done it.
It's not that easy. It's not that easy. It just isn't. It's not that easy.
I would agree with
you.
If the game was close. The game wasn't close at the end.
They're not playing some 35 and 55 team. They're playing a good team.
All right. Do they win in Atlanta the 2 games? Do they split?
I think they split.
They split. All right.
I think they split, and then they win games 5 and 6 and win in 6.
All right.
This is too good of a team. They're not going to roll over. They're not going to get rolled over. They're coached great. Quinn Snyder's a great coach. McCollum is a dangerous player, as you saw the other night. They're great defensively. These are problems these are things that the Knicks have problems with. But the thing that it's correctable. Like I don't know why Brown, and maybe this goes to what you were just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know why Brown can't take Brunson to the side at some point and go, listen, you're our guy. We love you. We want you taking the big shots over. But you got to when they're collapsing on you, got to get somebody else involved. Like you got to move the pill to somebody else.
That's what I don't understand.
Now, remember,
I guess that's what we all.
They fired a coach who took him to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Yes. There's a lot of pressure on this guy now.
Yep.
Brown's got to get this team, I think, at minimum back to where they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
He really does, because that was a bold move they made by getting rid of Tibbs. And they got rid of Tibbs because Tibbs ran the same 5 guys into the ground. Brown's, he mixes more guys in, but some of the decisions were a little puzzling the other night in terms of, did he think the game was over when he was making those decisions? I'm not sure. But they got work to do. I think they come back from Atlanta 2-2.
Okay.
We'll talk more about tomorrow night, game 3 tomorrow. Obviously, we'll be back here. But for the most part, I think there's a long way to go in that. As far as the other series in the NBA, besides the Knicks, Lakers are up 2-0 on the Rockets, which everyone said the Lakers were finished. They have no shot with no Luka, no Reeves, no shot. And they win the first 2 games at home against the Rockets. LeBron playing great. They have gotten some.
Well, that's the thing, too. They've looked impressive in the wins.
Well, they looked impressive, and Kennard has really been the guy, because Kennard had 23 points again last night. He's filled it up the first 2 games.
Maybe the Lakers were just kind of, let everybody think we're no good. And
well, also, it's also matchups, too. It's just like I'm saying with the Knicks.
Yeah.
The Rockets, you can't trust them. They're a gutless team also. They are. KD doesn't play game 1. Plays last night, but you can tell that there's some issues there with him. The Rockets going to go home and win 2 games? Yeah, probably. Probably be 2-2 going back to LA. But this is not going to be, again, the scrimmage that people thought it was going to be before the series started. People thought this game would be a scrimmage. I think I told you last week, and I know on the Bet River show I said it all the time, my favorite bet of the first round was Rockets-Lakers over 5.5 games. Because I couldn't trust the Rockets to take care of business in the correct fashion against the depleted Laker team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lakers have gone on 1-2 games. Maybe maybe I will lose that bet. Maybe the Lakers should sweep the Rockets. I'll lose that bet or beat them in 5. And I'm going to look bad then. But I love this bet. I still think the Rockets win games in this series and that they're going to get there. So that's been quite a surprise on that end. Wembanyama getting hurt last night for the Spurs really hurts because then they lose the game too. And they're 1-1 going back to Portland. Now, look, concussion protocol in the NBA, there's rules there. It's like the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
All these leagues have now got some rules when you get put in that protocol. I think the good thing they'll have going for them is there's so many damn days off between games in the NBA playoffs that if he misses games, maybe it's only 2 or 3. And I still think the Spurs are good enough to beat Portland without him. They wouldn't beat anybody else. They're not going to beat a Denver or an Oklahoma City or any of that. But they should have enough firepower to still win this series despite losing last night if they got to go the next 3 or 4 games without him. So that's the one thing that I will say about it from that aspect. I mentioned to you the Sixers tied after getting their doors blown off in game 1. Showed a little fight last night. Got that series 1-1. Cavs are up 2-0. Timberwolves also won that game 2 in Denver to get that to 1-1 also. So that was big for them as they head back to Minnesota tomorrow night. Tonight, 2 game 2s with the 1 seeds. Pistons Magic. Pistons lose game 1 at home to Orlando. And they are 9-point favorites tonight in game number 2. I would like to think that this should be a smash job for the Pistons tonight, Paulie, but I don't know. I got to see it now. Now Orlando's played well for 2 games in a row. The playing game against Charlotte, and now this game 1 in Detroit. This would normally be a spot where you put the foot down on the 1 seed to get back. But the Pistons don't have a lot of experience in this spot either as being the 1 seed and the big dog. So a little cautious about that. And the numbers moving down too, which makes me think maybe the Magic are going to be involved here more than we think this evening. And the other game tonight, you could forget it. Oklahoma City. That is a smash job. Smash job against Phoenix. No shot.
They probably got the parade dates probably set up. Just in case.
For all in the chat, for all this talk about MSG in the world's most famous arena, the Knicks sure love losing games at home. So much for it being a home court advantage. They lose in the most epic ways. They do lose in the most epic ways. They do find ways to do that.
And it's like the same every year. It's like, like you have this opportunity to kind of take care of business. But anyway, what are you going to do? We have to sit here and just...
Buddy, they're going to win the series. But they're just going to have to work hard to do it. Why does everybody think they should sweep this team?
I know. I guess I'm kind of an old man here. I mean,
you're being that.
No, because years ago, there was so many sweeps in the first round.
Right.
Teams would just take care of it.
But
whether it was NHL or NBA, and now it's just
the NBA is still kind of like that, but there are certain matchups that aren't, and this is one of them. This shouldn't be that. This is a good team they're playing. And if you didn't want to play them, you should have won more games in the regular season and not taken those nights off. And then you would have played Toronto or played Orlando or played somebody like that. Yeah,
but the Knicks probably still would have lost.
Sure, they probably
that they shouldn't.
They probably would do that. You're right. They probably would.
So, extra gates.
Extra gates.
Gotta have an extra game.
Now, I hate that I had to leave the hockey for so long, but
we're going to do a lot tomorrow because
we're going to do a ton tomorrow. DB tomorrow.
DB's back. Show 50 tomorrow.
Denny Bernstein from the 4th period in Sirius XM NHL Radio will be with us tomorrow, and we'll go full bore Stanley Cup playoffs. And with his, obviously, I think he was in Denver the last couple of games for the Avs and the Kings. He'll be going back to the compound, home in Los Angeles for Game 3 tomorrow night. And I have been
from King Skate tomorrow.
How about that? And I have been. We'll bring that up first since you mentioned Denny. I know they didn't win either game, but I was very impressed with how the Kings came out in Colorado and really pushed the Avs in both games. I didn't think there was any chance they would do it last night. I thought after game one, that was their effort. And I thought the Avalanche, is this more Kings are playing better than they've played all year? Or should we be worried about the Avalanche? I'm not saying worried about a team that's up 2-0 in a series, but they don't look like that machine that ran through everybody all year. Or is that just playoff hockey, Paulie? Now it's playoffs and it's tighter, and you got to expect games like this, no matter how good you were during the regular season.
I don't think it's anything to worry about as far as the Avs are concerned. I think there is that, first couple of games of the first round, the intensity level changes, the pressure's there a little more. I don't think the Avs. I think if anything, they're probably going to settle down really good in LA and probably sweep the Kings. I think I said they were going to sweep them, but
I don't know if we're going to get efforts like this every game. I mean, they've given you 2 really good efforts, the Kings.
Yeah, fair play to them, man. I mean, it's great to see. It's great hockey. You love the tight games. You love the cool stuff. Overtime, pushing it to the limit. Who was the kid who scored the goal for Colorado
for the Colorado winner last night?
What a bullet, man!
That was Nicholas Roy.
Yeah, great finish there. Yeah, I mean, look, you got if you're a hockey fan, you got to be tuning into this first round. I mean, this is where it's all happening, and this is where the we get to sit here and with all the different series, there's like kind of different things kind of going on in each series.
Each series has a little something different going on to it, that's for sure. And I think the one I wanted to get to you next was, did you see any or a lot of the Tampa-Montreal game last night? Did you happen to catch any of that?
Caught some of the highlights. I watched more of the first game.
I thought last night was very interesting. Now, Tampa won the game. They got the goal. They went to overtime and they won. But I thought that Tampa's strategy last night, which seemed like it was going to be, and I'll just say it as nicely as I can, it seemed like they wanted to goon it up.
Yeah,
with Montreal. Like that was their strategy, was we're going to push after whistles. We're going to get into, we're going to get, we're going to, this is Coop stuff. And it was a Coop type game, whether it's Hagel or these other guys. I mean, they were in to mix it up last night.
Especially coming after a loss in their house, game one. Yeah. That is like a script from Coop.
Yes. Yeah.
He don't like getting pushed around.
And, I thought it really almost cost them in a couple of instances. Like they could easily be going back to going to Montreal down 2. And Kucherov is so good. He's so good. He's just such a tremendous player. And Vasilevsky saves their bacon a bunch in the game too. And John just wrote in the chat, Habs are for real. And I said this to you last week, and I'll stay with it. You could have made a case for any of the 8 teams in the Eastern Conference to go to the Stanley Cup final this year. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that. All of them had an opportunity because of how tight I think it is in this conference. And what Montreal has shown me in the first 2 games is that is 1,000% true about them. They can win this series against Tampa. They have played well those 2 games down there at their place. And they're coming back to the Bell. It's going to be a huge atmosphere for them for Game 3 tomorrow night. Tampa, they got to refocus here and get themselves in order. And I know they won the game last night, but I don't know if the way that they did it last night is how they can get through the series. You keep handing the Habs power plays, you're going to get burned.
So let's watch what happens here. And take this from a Rangers fan who was up 2-0 against Tampa a few years back.
Yeah.
Tampa will, I think, like I said, that's a game plan. That's a script that Coop ran out last night, and they come out on the positive. They win it. Like I said, they took some chances with it, but I think that was a way for them to, test the Habs if they've got the mettle to play a dirty, grinding, tough game. I think what you'll see now, too, is see if Coop now will install this. He'll try and tighten things down a little bit. Right. And don't maybe you won't see. Just look for the scores in the games, the next couple of games, if it's 2-1 or 1-0 or whatever, because Coop has a way to find out how to strangle teams. So he's now got 2 games. He's seen what Montreal can throw at them. He's got all the assets. He's got the experience. He's got the weapons, and he's got some good young kids on his squad too. And like I said, you got Kucherov up front, and you got Vasilevsky in the nets. So just see how this kind of plays out a little bit. But my prediction is this series will tighten.
Okay.
It will be more of a defensive game, and the special teams are going to be huge here. But I don't think the games will be high scoring anymore.
You think the high scoring is over now?
I think it's over.
Okay, it's going to get a little tighter. I could see that.
And see how Marty Louis comes back if he makes any changes as far as toughening up his team a little bit.
And I will tell you, from my obviously game one wasn't over from my world. From the game, it wasn't under last night. It was under 5.5. It was a 3-2 game. But I'm with you. I think you could see more of those games going under the total and being a little bit tighter as we head to Montreal. But I think that this series, you can kind of tell it through the first 2 games. It's got 7 on it. Like I think this thing has got 7 games. It's got that feel through the first 2. There's chippiness, there's a lot to it, and I think it's going to have a lot of distance.
Or you might see Tampa just
drop the hammer
and possibly take 2 in Montreal.
Okay,
we'll see, man. But it's so great to watch. It's great hockey.
It is. Sabres, you can make a case, have been outplayed for 5.5 periods, but are 1-1 going to Boston, and they did not look good last night.
No.
And I know that everyone's gonna get on the goalie for the goal from center ice and all that. Look, there was more than that was going on with the Sabres last night. And aside from the last 8 minutes of the third period in game number 1, where they blitzed them and came back and won that game, I don't feel great about Buffalo in the series. And I want them to win. I'm rooting for the Sabres. I want to see the Sabres win this series and go far. I'm a little cautious after these first 2 games at home for them, because here's the one thing I know about the Bruins, and I think Buffalo is a much better team than Boston this year. The Bruins are 10 times better team at home than they are on the road, and they're going home for these 2 games now. It is crucial for Buffalo to come out with some purpose tomorrow night in game number 3 on the road in Boston. They've got to set some tone. They've got to change things up. I'm sure Lindy's going to instill that in the guys over today and whatnot. They need better starts to their game in Boston, starting with game 3.
Yeah, I mean, you can throw a lot of variables in any kind of game, especially in the playoffs and stuff, but you also have to look at how coaches run their system, and especially how they run a system or adjust the system to play their opponent.
Right.
And Mark Sturm here is doing a great job as far as what he's throwing out here, matching up his talent against, Lindy's squad here too. So, game 1 the other night, like I said, it was 4 minutes. They got the 3 goals, but It was Boston. Boston lost that game. They blew that game.
They blew the game.
They had it.
Blew the game.
And full marks for them to come out last night and win that. And yeah, I think you're right. Going back to this is I'd be a little concerned too in Buffalo right now. And I think more than anything, everybody was pretty damn concerned there in game 1. They were basically suffocated in game 1, except for that lapse.
John's right here. Sabres need to play a full 60 with desperation. That's what they need. They need to play a full 60-minute game tomorrow night in game number 3 when they get to Beantown. All right, tonight we have a game 3 in Philadelphia with the Penguins and the Flyers. I feel good about this so far because I told you the Flyers are red hot.
We both were on them.
This is going to be a problem for the Penguins
yeah.
in this series. I didn't think that they'd win the first 2 games on the road at the PPG. That was a little surprising to me. I thought they'd win this series, but I thought there'd be a little bit more to it. And I still think the Flyers are in the strangle position right now. You're up 2-0 going home. And at this point, you would think if they just get one of these 2 at home and be up 3-1, they should be able to shut the door at some point from there. But and this isn't just a typical, this isn't just for this Penguin team. This is any team that's down 0-2, no matter whether you're home, road, or wherever. You're going to get, obviously, that little extra push and desperation from the Penguins tonight, and Sidney Crosby and Malkin and these guys. And I think the Penguins win tonight. I think they win game 3 on the road in Philly, get this thing back to 2-1. As much as I like the Flyers in this series.
Yeah, I mean, it's Captain Obvious must win, game 3 here for the Penguins. Give the Flyers credit.
It's all right there in front of them.
Yeah. Well, look, you got Rick Tocchet here. He's just a consummate,
good,
very experienced guy.
Very good.
He is running a great bench. He's got these guys playing and going through walls for him. There's a lot of talent on the team, obviously getting great goaltending, which Flyers have never really had before. And the other thing they are doing, which teams in the past who've been able to beat the Penguins, is get into Sidney Crosby's head.
Yeah.
And they have him off. And that's the thing. So see how Sid comes out and plays tonight. And if he can kind of, keep his cool and just go to business. If not, they're done.
There's two things that are going for the Flyers right now that are so far and away everything else. Number one is this Vladar's playing like he's Patrick Waugh circa 1986. This guy is just on another level right now. And that's what wins in the Stanley Cup playoffs. You get hot goaltenders like Vladar is right now. You're going to go very far. And the other is this Martone kid has come in. He has scored in both games.
Schaefer who?
Okay. He has scored in both games, and he has come in, and he has just a bolt of energy in this team. And it's been part of their whole run to get in the playoffs and how they've looked in the first two games. And this is the stuff that takes you on a little ride. It takes you on the little magic carpet ride. And the Flyers, I think, are going to be doing it.
He is a kid. It's if you want to go back to the Olympics real quick there, right? And let's talk about McKinnon there, missing that open net, right?
Right.
This kid on the Flyers, every opportunity he's gotten, he's buried every chance. And that is just the mark of a great player. And that's just it. You have to bury it. And when you get your opportunities, taking full advantage. And that goes to whatever age you are. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's just, and that's the difference between the guys who go on to the Hall of Fame and everything else. And obviously this is a long, long ways away. But when you get to see kids like that or players like that bury their opportunity, like Kucherov's a guy like that, just bury it. I mean, that's why he's, McDavid too, guys just, burying points all year long. And this is what it's all about. It's great to see. I'm excited for the Flyers. It's going to be hard for Pittsburgh in that building.
Yeah.
They haven't had playoff hockey there in a long time. So it's going to be nuts.
Two other games tonight. We'll do the other series tomorrow with Denny. First of all, game 3, 1-1 Stars and Wild in St. Paul tonight. Had to have it from the Stars in game number 2, and they take care of business. Now it's a best of 5, nasty series, two teams that obviously know each other very well. I think it's just going to be back and forth every single game. I really do.
7.
I think it's going to, and I think it's going to go in this little back and forth pattern. I think whoever wins tonight, the other team will win game 4, and it'll be 2-2 going back to that. Like I think it's going to play in that type of a form throughout. So I think it's one that's going 7. It's got a 7 feel to it, just like Tampa and Montreal does to me. And
a couple of these series, like you're saying here, are starting to they're getting really brutal in the first couple of games.
Yeah.
So this is where you have to also watch too, which teams are going to be able to go the long way, and then you watch out for injuries too,
right?
And or injuries that may not be reported. But these series are getting pretty nasty pretty early.
Game 2, only series that has only played one game so far, is the Ducks and the Oilers late night tonight. Fun game the other night. Anaheim came back, got back in it, and does seeing them do that give you enough to think that they can win a game in Edmonton tonight? Can they go into Edmonton and get a game before they go back to the Duck Pond?
No. I think
Oilers.
No, I think the Oilers just look. There's something going on there, man. Because if it's not McDavid,
it goes on every spring the last 2 years.
I know, but
it goes on with them.
I am so impressed by them. I mean, it was just an impressive comeback. It's a win, and they did it without McDavid pretty much. So
we've sat here the last 2 years, and obviously not me and you physically right here. This is our first, we're 50th show, as you mentioned, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But we have, as talking about the game the last few years, of every year we give you all these excuses as to why the Oilers aren't going to do it. They have no goaltending. They have no defense. They have no. And the last 2 years, they've gotten a Stanley Cup final. So here we are again, the start of a playoff, and we're all doing the same things. We're doing Edmonton's got no goaltending. They've got no defense. They've got no shot. And they might come out, and like all it takes, Paulie, is let's say they do squash Anaheim. Like, let's say that was too much for them.
What's their route?
And this is over in 4 or 5. And you know what they get to do? Sit around, because I think, and I don't like this because I bet Vegas minus a game and a half. I think Utah's going to give Vegas all they can handle now in that first round.
And I didn't think so after Vegas came back. I thought they were going to have just too much for these guys. But I think you're right.
And Edmonton has done this the last two springs. Edmonton's found a way to get to the final. Again, I don't think that they will, but would it surprise me if they did? No, it would not. And I think Anaheim lost a chance the other night to really try to steal a game there. And they got no goals out of McDavid, no goals out of Draisaitl in that first game. Dickinson scored 2. What are they going to get from Draisaitl and McDavid tonight? I just don't. I think it's a lot on Anaheim's plate to deal with.
But that's a part of the beauty of the Oilers, I get, is that mechanism, because of Draisaitl and McDavid, they're drawing so much attention, right? Yeah. And Edmonton now has a couple of the guys who are finishing, right? They're finishing, taking advantage of their opportunities. And that was, I sat back and I'm going, oh boy. And then again, their route to get to the conference finals, let's say Utah does. I don't think they'll beat Vegas, but
let's say they do.
Take them, and
Edmonton, Utah,
Dallas and Minnesota are going to kill each other, and
right?
Colorado. And let's
Dallas,
see what the
Minnesota,
Kings do,
and Colorado are all going to be on that side of the bracket.
Up.
So we'll do more hockey with Denny tomorrow, but 3 games tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs for us to get to. Why don't you give us one more time everything that's going to be going on at Borrelli's before we get out of here?
All right. Once again, 912 West B Street here in Long Beach, New York, Borrelli's Taproom.com. It's Wednesday, music theme nights here on Wednesday night. Tonight is the debut of the Bruce Springsteen music theme night here. Starts at 7 o'clock, free admission. Come on down, $21 dinner specials, half-price bottles of wine, and drink specials. Starting tonight at 7 again. And then following up back in May, the Billy Joel Night returns, songs from an Italian restaurant on Wednesday, May 6th. And then on Wednesday, May 20th, special U2 tribute night with the band New Year's Days. They'll be here. It'll be like a MTV Unplugged acoustic electric show here at Borrelli's. All free admission. Again, half-price bottles of wine, dinner specials throughout the shows on Wednesday nights. So tomorrow is carnivore night. It's Thursday night, $42.99. You get steak, pork, or veal, super salad, and a dessert, and bottomless beers and bottomless wines. Woo! Try and say that quick. I'm not very good at that, unfortunately. $42.99. Carnivore night every Thursday night here at Borrelli's. Live music returns this weekend, Friday. Logan Wally going to be here at 7 p.m. and then followed by DJ Sims for the Friday night dance party. On Saturday, Evan Karuga Trio. The band will be here Saturday, 7 o'clock, and then followed by DJ TM Select for the Saturday night dance party. And then on Sunday Fun Day, a couple of cool things going on here. We have a fundraiser, a bingo fundraiser earlier for the local Long Beach girls lacrosse team. So come on down for that, support that squad out. And then live music provided by Evan Karuga Sola on Sunday, followed by DJ TM Select for the Sunday Fun Day dance party. We got the Knicks watch party with Chris Child's going to be here. Don't forget the Knicks games are always going to be on here. 2-for-1 pizzas, $1 wings, tons of bucket specials. And again, Chris Childs will be here for Game 3. So make sure you get down here and hang out with him and everybody here at Borrelli's. We got the Country Fest coming up May 15th through the 17th, hosted by Anthony Gow with Nashville artists. And then on May 18th, we got the Ravioli Night coming down here to Borrelli's as well. And then comedy specials. David Tell is going to be here next week, but he's sold out, just like Ben Bankus was sold out 2 performances last night. But there are tickets left for Ian Fidance on April 29th. And then Jared Freed is going to be here on June 27th. And Joe List will be here on July 14th. And don't forget, the Borrelli's golf outing is going to be here on June 22nd, Monday, June 22nd, Middle Island Country Club. Lots of fun time. We're going to keep talking about that golf outing. We're going to go on that.
Let's go.
As we hope and pray that the weather will turn here on the South Shore here.
I hope it's not like this.
Long Island. And don't forget, as always, folks, come down to Borrelli's anytime. Mention the Carver and Cuthbert podcast. Start your session with a free Miller draft. And that's what's going on at Borrelli's Taproom.
All right. We are back tomorrow, noon East. Very busy day. NFL draft round 1 tomorrow night. Buddy. Show 50. NFL draft round 1 tomorrow night. Knicks Hawks game 3 tomorrow night. All the Stanley Cup playoffs. Yankee Sox. And will the Mets actually win a game? Can they do it?
That's a bet now, isn't it?
Well, you could bet on it every day. But yes, dude, that is a bet. Can the Mets actually win a game? I'm going to say no. I say we're back tomorrow with another loss. They play in the afternoon tomorrow? At the end of that series? Let me see. I have to check that really fast. That's going to be a tough scene for them. No, they're at night. They're going to freeze you out on a Thursday night. Man, at least nobody will be watching with the Knicks playing in the NFL draft on. Nobody will know if the Mets lose their 14th in a row tomorrow night. They got to get 13 first tonight. So we'll be back tomorrow noon East to talk about that. Carver Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio. Oh, what do you got?
Just want to throw this in.
Oh, look at that.
Just want to throw this in. Just came in on the wire. There's going to be Mother's Day brunch here at Borrelli's Taproom.
Wow.
What a wonderful treat for your mom to come down here. The beautiful Borrelli's Taproom here in the spring. And that's going to be bottomless mimosas and wine for all the moms.
Let's go.
On the house. Are you kidding me?
Now that's what I'm talking about.
That's Sunday, May 10th. Call 516-705-8674 for reservations. That's Mother's Day brunch here.
Might have to take Nicole down here
Borrelli's.
that day, I guess. I'll also try to get her down here.
Oh, does she like mimosas?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. All right, Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio here at Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. Just gave you the busy slate tomorrow. We are back, and Denny Bernstein gets us ready for the rest of the Stanley Cup playoff action that night as well. Mike Carver, Paul Cuthbert, enjoy all the games tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at Borrelli's.